Good people, you know what time it is.
Yo, fam.
Podcast. Let me do what I do.
Listen, I'm saying what's up to the people.
Podcast 18.
My people. What's good?
Shout out to the sponsors, the drumcoaches.com.
DrumTrax app, you know what it is.
Pay once, become a member forever. 250 lessons, over 250 and going up. That's right. You know what it is.
And that's definitely on the DrumTrax. I mean the drumcoaches.com.
Theshedcamp.com. Get your hands faster. Get confident on the kit.
All of that.
The whole nine. And shout out to the homies. I got my bag here. DBK. Drums, bass, keys. That's just the homie from SoCal. Shout out to his whole company. Make shirts, backpacks, hats, the whole nine.
Yep. DrumTrax app. Y'all know what it is. All of the tracks are free to stream.
And hold on. Let me stop you right there because we're gonna get into it. But for those of you who are sending comments talking about what's the name of the app, what's the name of your band,
that part,
where can I find it? Family, links are in the description box if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. They're all there. And that's where we're getting the comments, and people are screenshotting, sending DMs. Hey, where can I find, what's the name of this?
Right.
It's all in,
and
it's
I'm
all
going
in
to
the,
say it because it needs to be said. The name of the band is Mino, Yanci. The name of the app with all the play-along tracks is the DrumTrax app.
You know the if you're watching this on the video, you see the banner right in front of him where it says at DrumTrax app. That's the name of the app. DrumTrax app. All right. Yeah. So today we're actually answering one of the questions from a previous podcast from the homie Ty Friedman. He used to live where we're at, but now he's in SoCal. Okay. He says hashtag, first of all the way through.
Listen, for all of you who've been watching all the way through, even back when we was doing 30-minute podcasts, we never did 30 minutes. It was like 20-something minutes, but still. And y'all still watching it all the way through. Listen.
You feel me? Yo, wait.
That's what that means.
Yo, actually showing more love on the last one. This the most views we ever had.
That's true. How
6.8 and climbing.
Like that.
See,
and y'all was talking about y'all wanted us to do it longer.
Nah.
Y'all like the short ones because y'all watching more of it. That's what we seeing.
You feel me? So
period.
Ty said hashtag all the way through. Needed this. His question is, how can you master one instrument if you play multiple instruments?
I think this is a great question for you to answer since you make all the play-alongs,
you
right?
You know what it is
since you write all the songs in the band.
You have to understand that not everyone has fell from heaven with the gifts that God has given me.
Oh, my God.
I'm an anomaly. I'm an exception. I'm not the rule.
So
for me, it's a different thing. But for those of you who are, low-level humans like yourself, I think you should answer, what is it like for you?
So first of all, you have finally admitted that you are an alien. And that you're not from.
Sorry. You misspoke the word angel. That's who I am.
That's
come
okay.
on over.
Listen, I you see what I'm dealing with here. I don't know how I do it. I know you're asking me how do you do it. I don't know.
It's cool.
How
baby.
I do it.
Angel, Titan, God, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter.
You're definitely wilding. That's what we'll start.
That's what we'll start out here. So answer the question, bro.
Yeah, I as a musician that plays multiple instruments, how do you get really good? I guess you got to define what really good is first, right? Because some people, I've met people who play a couple of instruments and they're like, yeah, I'm really good at this and that, and then you hear them and you're like, we just have a different definition of what good is. We just don't think that good is the same. What good is, we don't think that's the same.
I don't like the fact that you even had drops, but in this particular moment, all I could think of was, you are not prepared.
Yo,
that was terrible.
First of all,
thank God y'all doesn't have it.
You don't have to forgive me for not having the drops.
Continue to answer.
I left my interface.
Thank God.
I got the computer, though. I was trying to figure out a way to make it work, but listen.
Thank God.
They're coming back stronger than ever.
No, they're not.
On the next week, I promise you that.
It's
not over.
It's
Bishop,
over,
I promise
bro.
you. Listen.
It's over.
It's coming.
No, bro.
Matter of fact, it's already here. Where was I at in my answer? Oh, you got to define what good is. You have to be able to compare yourself to something to determine what good is. So to do that, like I feel like it's difficult. It depends on how much time you have on your hands also. So if you're trying to be good at multiple instruments, it's possible if you just have a lot of time, right? And how long are you trying to take to get good at all of these instruments? Because, of course, the more time you put in, the more you get out. So if you're playing drums and you only got 2 hours a day to practice music and you're trying to split that up between all the instruments, you can. You're just going to grow slow. And it's already 2 hours a day on the drums. You're already going to grow at incremental levels. But if you try to spread that out between multiple instruments, you're going to grow at incremental levels. even like more incremental. One thing that I experienced though, when I started playing bass heavily, and I was starting to get gigs playing bass, I actually stopped. I realized that I wasn't practicing drums because I was practicing bass. Now, I had developed on the drum kit to a certain point where if someone called me to play a gig on drums, I could still do that. But I wasn't getting better. I was kind of coasting at where I was. But I was getting better on the bass. And so sometimes, you know, it may be a good idea to do it in spurts. So if you're trying to get good on drums, you get good on drums. And then if you want to add in bass, but realize you might not get better at the drums at the same time, or you might get better at a slower rate if you're not practicing as much because you're spending time on the bass. And if you want to add in a third instrument, all this does is make it more difficult for you to get better faster at one. So it's possible. It's just you have to just realize like, hey, I'm okay with not getting better at the same rate that I was getting better on one instrument because I'm choosing another instrument. See, one thing you got to realize is when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Just
and when you say no to something,
preach
you're saying
the
yes
word
to something else. So that's a thing that
preach the word of God.
Are you all right? I mean, because listen, I understand what it is to feel your help coming on, but Bishop, I didn't feel nothing. Have you ever been in church?
Bro, I knew it. I knew it. He was going to find a way.
You already know.
To shoot church.
I'm not shooting church.
He's going to find a way. I shouldn't have did that. I take it back.
Any musician
I take it back.
Played in church. Y'all been in there. With a guy with the mic. It ain't got to be the pastor. Just got to be the guy who's emceeing the service. And he's in there trying to pump and prime the people to shout. And he's mad because they not shouting.
Because you don't feel nothing.
Because you don't feel nothing,
like,
Brody.
But
he gonna push and keep going anyway. And
after he says he ain't here to pump and prime you.
See?
He gonna see y'all don't know what God has to see.
But
I think of the goodness of Jesus.
Come on.
And all.
Yes, sir.
Y'all don't have to pump and prime me. I'm already ready. That's what's wrong with the saints today.
I came here with my mind. My God, today.
Stayed on My God.
See?
It's quiet.
Because if he ain't done nothing for you.
I take it back. I apologize. I went on a rant. Well,
look, that's my answer, man. That's my answer. You can't.
I would say you need to still know that you're practicing and not just going over stuff you can already play.
Well, I mean, that just comes down to understanding what the definition of practicing is. Practicing, I remember when the homie George was telling us back in the day. He used the analogy of the word rehearsal. Like when you break it down, it's actually rehearsal. Like that's how we broke it up. So like when you're rehearsing, you're rehearing, you're redoing it. It's something that you've already learned, something you've already practiced. You're going over it again. Hence the prefix re. But if you're practicing, it's actually working on something that you're not currently able to do well. And you're trying to be able to do it well. So you're working at that. And that's practicing. I mean, honestly, majority of us who practice and say that we practice for 2 hours or for 4 hours or for 5 hours, we probably practice for like 20 minutes.
That part.
And if we became more efficient in practicing, you actually might be able to do multiple instruments and actually get incrementally better at both.
It'd be like if you was a drummer and a keyboard player. Let's say you play an A flat, but you are terrible in G. So every time you touch the keys when you're practicing, let's say you only have 30 minutes a day, you're 30 minutes in that key that you can't play in.
Right.
And then when you get on the drums, you're working on independence. You're not working on R&B pop grooves that you can
because you can already do that. See, but the thing is, it's crazy. Is like even when you're playing one instrument and you're practicing, you don't get better at everything at the same time.
That part.
And so when you look at it that way, and then you try to add multiple instruments, you don't get better at everything.
You can't.
At the same time.
You can't.
You got to like, hey, I've progressed this much on the drums, and I'm kind of cool with that.
You got to be okay with it.
Unless you don't have nothing else to do with your life. Like, this is why I think people get good at multiple instruments when they're young, because they go to school, and then they have nothing else to do with their life other than these instruments. And if you love it, then that's what I started playing drums when I was like 12. No, I was playing a little bit before that. Maybe between 10 and 12. And I started playing keys when I was almost 17 and started playing bass around 18. And by the time I was 20, 21, I was good enough on bass to play gigs. And that's what I was doing. But I also played keys, and that was a slower development because it just was. because I was still playing drums. And then when I started practicing keys more, I wasn't practicing drums as much. But all these things that it's just what it is. And so right now I haven't really practiced bass in a while because I've been more practicing keys and a little bit on drums and, you know, things like that as I'm trying to.
But you're okay with the fact that you're not where you was on bass? Or
I'm,
you're not
that I haven't. Yeah, I'm okay with. I had to make that decision, right? I mean, I'm.
So that's the moral of the story.
That's just what it is.
Be okay with where you're at and understand that, even if you
understand what it means when you make the choice to add in another instrument. Like, it's not wrong to do.
You won't be going at 100 miles an hour. You'll be going at 10. And that's all right. You'll get to the 100 miles. It's just going to
take a little longer. I mean, unless you decide to put everything else down and focus on that. And just because let's say you decided, hey, I'm not going to be practicing the drums like that, going hard for the next 6 months. I'm going to go hard on the bass because I'm trying to make some gains. You can make that decision, and it's okay. Just for 6 months, you will remain as good as you are on the drums, and you won't be any better because you didn't spend any time practicing doing anything new. And then after 6 months, you can be like, cool, I'm happy where I am on the bass right now.
Okay, buddy.
After that,
that's the end of the podcast. Good
Brody,
people.
I just hope they get the point.
He's going off on a tangent. No, it's past 10 minutes.
Listen, the reason is
the camera's going to cut off.
No, it's not. It actually just might. It just
we're using the real camera.
You're right.
Cuts off every 12. That's it, good people.
Yeah, that's all, guys. But I said it because I don't want you guys to misinterpret. Because if I don't say it 17,000 times,
good people. That's it for this podcast.
They get it.
We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace. He was like, he's about to go in.